OUG understanding that they're going to have a huge target on their back as current first place and only about 50 points away from hitting that MVP eligible, will be dropping as far away from everyone and avoiding a fight, properly scaling up this composition before they decide to take a 3v3.
We're seeing KLA's QGG grabbing that Firefly initially, grabbing a purple spear, almost close to purple ultimate off spawn. He's trying to make his way to the other Firefly and his teammates who moved up. Doesn't have armor to his name, and now BBE activating, seeing if they can get out. Looks like Fat Milk is going to be caught out here, but KLA's QGG jumping from the top, setting up the F1, but Yushan already grabbed the Fireflies. We're in ultimate off spawn. BBE has his work cut out for him. Now white ultimate from the Takeda, not going to be doing much off spawn. It doesn't have as much stagger. BBE's Fat Milk needs to create the opportunity for his team. His teammate Aizen is going to get taken down. QGG trying his best to keep this team crowd controlled. Roy Hehe has full armor still, can bring this back. B2 coming out from the zipping, but it looks like BBE, last person alive. They're going to get wiped out from KLA, claiming this wreckage. What a key win for KLA. Starting off very strong, getting the high yield POY. This is going to set up KLA for their end game. Fat Milk just the slow roll, rotate, grabbing the little bit of loot. We just want to get a little tax here before we get out of there. QGG desperately chasing him. This will be the last time, Moxie, that we see everyone with no stamina. The old patch, no one has stamina. Everyone's running discount, can barely move. The future Naraka is going to be fast and violent, though.
Well, speaking about violent, we're not stopping any of these fights. Fireflies are always aggressive as JL's VVV gets locked down by the Tessa V1. There's the enchantment going off right into the fan RMB, and that is a purple fan coming out from Wolves who'd been able to get their hands on a Moonbane charm, immediately dropped it on top of JL as well, to be able to make sure that they did not get third-partied. The fight looked to be over incredibly quickly as well, which is really crucial because when you drop the Moonbanes, everyone can see where it is on the map. That is ringing a dinner bell and inviting a lot of these other teams to try and come to third party, which is why a lot of the time we see the Tessa compositions use it, because they can actually have an ultimate afterwards once they've finished winning the fight. Speaking about the Tesla compositions, we're going to see WBG Sleepwalker with a purple fan of his own. Hasn't used the ultimate up just yet. DRG trying to get pressure onto the Monk. Managed to find the V3 pillar drop to be able to convert that into follow-up damage, but Sleepwalker doing a very good job of just sitting on the fan RMBs for as much as he possibly can. Bygay coming in with the peel as well, stepping into that forward position, absorbing a lot of the pressure so that Sleepwalker does not get pressured and forced into using that ultimate, because a lot of these other teams are still nearby, specifically Moonlight, who's now going to be out of that Farrier V3, had to hop into the mech to try and keep himself intact, does not have the Yushan ultimate, will not be able to get the health replenish. WBG will be able to cleanly pick up free. And Raven, this is a team that surely are running a couple of Lux in their glyph, because oh my goodness, that is 3 purple weapons immediately into their hands. They understand that they need to scale this monk up as quickly as possible, and they're equipping themselves to be able to do so. As Wolves and BBE now scrap over money spot, but Wolves are far better scaled because BBE just got off the Soul Altar, which means that all of their loot got reset to absolute 0.
Yeah, unfortunate for BBE with this reset, but still 2 of them alive, more than enough time to find that res. We saw WBG's spawn location earlier, starting the south. They made their way all the way up the Sunwing to find that fight and scale up. Now TE, the world champs, losing VVV and TXJ. They were saying that they were going to come back today and prove everyone wrong, that they are not a weak team anymore. Now BBE's Roy Hehe and Aizen, unfortunately, going to take the aggro from TE. Leo next to him, F3 is going to be invested, or he's going to do the noble sacrifice for his teammate to get out there, but it's looking tough. Nowhere to go. The Tessa ult, the V3 coming out, nowhere to go. TE easily cleans that up, makes her way to some Fireflies, and is going to be playing this no ultimate zone. EWG still looks like they had a reset, are in white armor, and they're noticing TE coming through. Good thing for them that this Viper team is not lock and loaded. They don't want to take this fight. They want to reset and get some blue armors first. Now JL, VVV, TXJ, the former TE Worlds players, gonna be going against the current bi-weekly champions. Yu's going to be diving in with the F2, looking for the opener. Takeda also going to be invested. VVV already shoving off Yu, but Yu, hot on his heels, wants to take down this Takeda, easily blowing him up with the F2. JL just does not have the loot to deal with that. Now on the outside, KLA looking like they're fighting against 5-2-1. Fairy ult's going to be invested. Temi ult's going to be invested. QGG, 2 shoves to his name, has a Yushan hot on his heels, 2 Transformers poking at him. Nice disengage coming out from KLA. They still have zipping ult online, but they are going to be able to retreat to these fireflies potentially in these caves. And
I think someone snapped him. Oh no.
Looks like someone already ate the food, Moxie. Feels bad.
That is unfortunate. Fireflies might have increased spawns on a dusk and nighttime, but they are set. So if you do get to them a little bit late, chances are teams already rolled through and gobbled those on up. At least they're able to keep the Takeda alive, though, with that ultimate still being into play. As WBG have a bounty on DRG, gorgeous fan R&B connection onto Moonlight to immediately start that one off. Sleepwalker getting the Karumi Tether to be able to get that damage reduction. Now we're going to see the Monk transformation go on out as Wushin is forced to cancel out of the Yoda ultimate to avoid getting it cancelled by the Tessa V1, hops into the Ferrier V3, does take the enchantment though, and he is incredibly low. Tap dodges 1, Monk grab, Sleepwalker still looking to try and find some of these players, but he has done enough. He may not have been able to pick players up, but he still sent DRG absolutely scattering into retreat, especially since the Yoda ultimate was burned before the Monk ultimate came through, which means that you did not get to use the Yoda blades to try and stagger the Monk. And that's another thing that we have to talk about, right? The fact that you're running the Tessa to try and deal with the Yoto means that the Tianhai does not have to worry about his entire ultimate being nullified by a Yoto just sitting and teleporting on top of his forehead and smacking him back every single second.
We saw the beautiful execution. Exactly what I realized that composition was. They target the Yoto, like you were saying, Moxie. Monk is chilling with the F3 from the Kurumi, but more importantly, the follow-up Faria mech just immediately gets deleted as she's stunned and has to turn away. Rohihi, unfortunately, again, we're going to see him go down again to KLA. Unfortunately for BBB, they just can't get it going on their ice pick. They want to get their offense going. Long-range snipe coming out onto Aizen. Only has 4 grapples to his name, but OUG, hot on his heels. Where can he go? He's just going to go in his zone. Doesn't want to give up this kill. Yu, though, hot on his heels, gets the Sagger. Aizen's going to have to do his best with his last dying breath. The F2 going to be invested out. His combo Ray invested out. He's going for a ride, though, into the corner of the map. OUG starting off the game super strong with 2 kills. But like you were saying, I'm surprised to see Wolves doing super well. They did have that Moonbane off spawn with 5 kills. Good job from Aizen to create some space to get his teammate res, and now they're going to be able to reset, get that res, possibly play for box, and we have inside Yang KLA waiting for anyone to come in and fight them on the Sand Siphon. But first, box play coming from JDG and TEV3. Viper all going to be invested, but it looks like JDG wants to take this, but Wolves comes in with the third party, the Tessa ult, hitting all 3 and absolutely decimates them. Oh my goodness, Moxie.
I mean, this is something that we saw last time. Windspite on Fan is absolutely brutal if you can just have one player stagger everyone, and I mean, in that instance, Wolves don't have a player. They just send out the Tessa V1 and it catches onto everyone sitting on top of that Mara's Blessing. They do go low, they do have to use the Wuchen TP, but Grief has been there, they got the kills. Speaking about kills now, KLA is going to need to get them against OUG, and quickly as QGG is going incredibly low, getting hounded down by OUG's U at this moment. SS inside that Farrier mech is going to immediately try and save the Takeda. Lovely little armor swap there coming through to transfer the purple onto the vulnerable Takeda, as we're seeing you trying to just find any sort of kill that he can. There it is, KLA 17 as the one who dropped the armor for him is going to go down. Yushan ultimate, making it incredibly hard for the Takeda to find any value at the moment. QGG goes up into the sky to activate the F so that no one sees. Maybe throws a blue unawares into him as he charges up the scale rush on the fan. So we do see the Shaolin Soul Jades start to come on through. Tries to sit in the RMB to avoid getting staggered, but unfortunately is not able to throw it out on time, as OUG have more players and are able to just go for that stagger lock, and there's absolutely nothing he can do without that ultimate, without the activation knocking all of the players away from him. He just does not have any of the space, and OUG will pick that and 3 kills up cleanly, as well as scaling themselves up to be even stronger inside this Cannonball composition, because just like Takeda and Monk want the gear to be able to scale the damage that they do, so too does Cannonball.
Oh my goodness. KLA actually goes for the armor swap lane. Normally you see that with Wu Chen teams when they pour it out. A teammate goes down and they quickly res. You rarely, I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in the realm of Yang. So generally, Cannonball's strategy is you want to focus fire that Takeda. And even though normally Takeda was looked at as a juggernaut where he's very, very hard to hold down because he has 4 giant shoves that allow him to do whatever he wants. But versus Cannonball, you're seeing that aggression from OUG and their ability to just absolutely pressure him. QGG again, you get the rematch, the salty run back, just a Phoenix buff. So full even cooldowns, ultimates all popping out, double offensive ultimates popping out. QGG trying to avoid the focus fire, trying to help his teammate though. 17S getting the business from the 2 transformers. He can't go anywhere. He's already popped, and the shoves coming in for the Yushan, but Feria laying down the cover fire. Is going to be able to take down 17S. OUG's U with the Yodo, pressuring out CXZ. Then there's nothing KLA can do. They're going to make their way out of there, but they do have Yang depletion. They do need to find a Soul Bloom cell. You hot on their heels as well. He smells the blood in the water, finding his old teammates. I'm sure he enjoys chasing down his old organization, letting them know that they are going down not once but twice already today. OUG's opener already up to 6 kills. Wolves already up to 10 kills as well. EWBG holding their place with 2 kills, but WBG, man, I really want to see WBG run against OUG's Cannonball inside Yang. I'm hoping this second Yang, we can see this fight, Moxie. CXZ gonna get closed out here. F2 is gonna be invested, jumping LBs from you, closing it out. He looks for a parry, not able to get it. OUG gets that parry, and OUG just firing all cylinders, up to 7 kills, making it look easy, Moxie.
Well, now we can have a look and see what KLA's last surviving member is. Has he been able to find a Soul Bloom? No, because I'm pretty sure that's KLA's own bodies. That is rather unfortunate. Can you imagine if you could? Just like, you know what? Sometimes a sacrifice has to be made.
Go into zone, I need to eat you.
I don't think he has the money. Yeah, he didn't have the money to be able to buy a rebirth charm and buy someone back. That is incredibly unfortunate. 1 minute 23 seconds alone Takeda without ultimate as well. He might be able to find a kill instigated on a team who's trying to enter the second realm of Yang. You might get your wish, because we did just see WBG pop up momentarily on that mini-map near that realm of Yang, and OUG are in the area. It just depends whether or not these teams are good enough to immediately go through, or whether they want to try and wait and go up against an undergeared and not as prepared team who tries to roll the dice and get that second portal. As we can have a look on the overhead, WBG, as we said, are sniffing around the realm. Bauda also. OUG, it looks like, might be trying to hunt down the last player of KLA, as well as just gravitate around that box. So they can roll for Soul Jades uncontested, which is something you were talking to me that they were doing last week. Where they would basically just go through all of the dealers, get all of the Soul Jades uncontested, and have all of the loot and all of the scaling to absolutely run and demolish those final zones when everyone is just pulled together. And things like Rupture Gale and Flame Breath on that cannon just become absolutely OP.
Yeah, it's one of the sneaky things you can do to salvage your games. One of the gate-kept secrets. a lot of the most stacked teams end up rolling all their money, dropping a bunch of Jades. And if you're one of the scuff teams, or even if you're one of the very scaled teams, a lot of the times there's still a ton of good Jades that you can bring up, especially for your support player to get max out defense, max out health, and really give you something to do between games. We got one team in Yang, and it looks like TE is going to be getting the box on the Wu Chen, getting that purple armor onto LYD. They still can bring their game back. Come on.
Well, we might get it. I mean, OUG were thinking about it, but I think, nah, WBG are going to get it unchallenged.
They know. They know not to go in. They sniffed out the trap. But I really wanted to see this fight go down. Sleepwalker with the gold pulse sword. He's going to be a force to reckon with. Looks like Leo. They wait and trap the box. They lay the ambush, and Moonlight comes out and takes the bait and just gets deleted. Good play from TE, but 5-2-1 versus JL. It looks like TXJ getting caught out on the Temi. Not able to lock him down to find the kill. Now, transitioning in post-second Yang, everything becomes a lot more dangerous to take these fights. Their buffs are running around the map. TXJ hiding in the building, sees
He's alone.
Buff. He's like, where all my teammates are dead. A good thing for him, TE does spot DRG in the distance. LYD hot in pursuit, trying to hold down DRG. And this is one of the things, Moxie, that I'm really looking forward to seeing the new patch is grapple distance. Just everyone for the longest times in trios, no stamina, no grapple distance, and the new patch just makes you feel like you're flying first class in Naraka. That long grapple distance when you're chasing those solos, those duos, transitioning those end game, it's just such a quality of life that you can actually catch these scoundrels. And now Wuxin gonna get caught out, goes to the no ult zone, no armor to his name. LYD jumping on, getting the 1-2. F2's gonna deny it, but where can Wuxin go? The Tesla ult's gonna get it sent at him. Woo! Bob, we barely dodged it, but Wuxin making his way through the
party.
Can he find someone to dump this team onto? LYD again with the max range grapple, able to stagger him. Nowhere left to go. We have to pop the ultimate. We're eating blues in the back. We're just gonna invest in V3. Wait, LYD is taking a ton of damage. He has to be careful right now. Another team can spot this amount of investment for the solo player. Yodo's doing her absolute best to survive, and now WBG does spot the investment, but Sleepwalker wisely gonna just back off, does not able to take the kill. And TE, whew, was looking a little dicey there, Moxie, for a second for that one. We had to invest a lot to get it, but every kill matters in this grand finals. We're playing for keeps in this second weekly finals. This is the last of the patch. We're saying goodbye to the old boxes and welcome the new, what'd you call it, Monty? Thunderdomes instead of boxes.
100%. I mean, come on. All of the teams are going to enter, and only one team's going to leave. That is a Thunderdome by definition. So we can have a look at WBG, who actually picked themselves up Draco Storm for their free Realm of Yang. So they're turning themselves into the final boss at the moment. It did get buffed. It does not last as long as all of the other buffs. But crucially, having that additional AoE damage, a lot of teams do not want to take the engagement. And there's no point in them picking up something like White Tigers because, well, they have the Kurumi to be able to keep everyone topped up in healing, hale, hearty, and healthy, as poor JL is not so hale, not so hearty, and in a minute, probably not so healthy, as 521 have spotted the last player of JL, poor old TXJ, who, just like DRG, was trying to sneak his way on top of one of those Morris Blessings and make off with a rebirth charm. Unfortunately for him, like you said, a lot of those teams laid in wait, knew that there were an uneven number of players in the lobby, and wanted to see whether or not some of these players would reveal themselves, come out of the woodwork and try and make off with that loot. As TXJ might have actually made off with his own life. He's able to find an armor reset, gets the ceiling wall hang interaction as well to be able to hide out. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. 521 are like, hold on a minute. He didn't go out here, and there's only one building in the area, so by process of elimination, he's got to be here. He is on the Tumult, which is why this chase has lasted so long with the F. It is one of, if not the best combo breaker in-game. Especially since they finally made it Golden Focus. Because, or even before, when it wasn't Golden Focus, and Tumultuous would use their F, like, it was just griefing themselves, because they'd be chased by, like, nunchuck uppercut a dual blade, and you would just take all of the damage right on your ankles, and you would be crashing down to earth like Icarus flying a little bit too close to the sky. As Wolves sit on the Ballista. GG did not make it to the bi-weekly finals. So Wolves instead are going to take over this obstacle and make it harder for some of these teams to put pressure onto them. They are pretty stacked in terms of that scaling, but they're just making sure that they are as oppressive and threatening as possible so they can try and keep all three of their players alive. Because this is one of the sort of difficulties that Wolves has always faced, right? They're very good at getting kills early, not so good at converting it into survivability.
True, the transition in the end game is a really tough part of the game. We're seeing that part of the game cleaned up a lot more. Everyone is sitting back and finding the duos and solos. It's incredibly hard to play placement if you don't have your full trios alive. You cannot hold your space, you cannot hold your ground. Everyone rotates using their grapple and their target lock to spam like every possible hiding spot. And at this point, especially on Morris, there aren't many locations that people don't know. Now, looking at the box, JDG's going to invest a Temi ult. And
they had to. That was a ballista shot right at them.
They want this box. There are blueberries right now. They want to get that investment. And TE sitting back on the ballista, laying siege. They do get the gold armor. They don't get lucky with the purple armor, but they at least set up their Takeda to be super scaled going into this end game. The gold armor, last time we're going to be seeing it today, one of the comeback mechanisms used by the teams recovering to set up for this end game. Now we're seeing the lifeblood of Sand Siphon, their Takeda, super stacked up. He just needs one more weapon. He's right at the schmidge of that gold ultimate. And we're seeing OUG post up on the bottom, playing for placement. And like I said before, you need to have your trio with these Jades to hold your space, hold your ground. They're literally turtling up with a ballista. This is how competitive and sweaty game one is. Usually game one starts out with a nice stacked end game, 24 players out of the 36, and we're getting the old school mines end game. Giant cliff sides, a lot of terrain, a lot of line of sight to work with. We're going to see the cannons coming out, trying to pressure people out of their hiding positions, but still, as we close in, the verticality and the little nooks and crannies that you can fit your team into are going to come into play a lot more. EWG sitting on the outside, playing poke game with Bauda, laying siege, and heals are tough. We're only at 4 and 5 as this progresses. We still got 7 minutes to go. You don't want to take too much poke in this instance. Cavalry Bloom on the Yodo, trying to deny some of this range pressure, but the cannons from Bauda pushing EWG into the corner. Now JDG slowly working their way on the other side of the zone with non-stop arrows coming from long range. And wolves from across the map as well, sending out. Looks like OUG is going to join the fray, poke their head out, claim one of their top mountains. Everyone posting up, waiting to see what the next zone brings us, Moxie.
Yeah, WBG are definitely going to be waiting with bated breath because we do not know currently where the Transformer team is. But unfortunately for them, if they put themselves onto the high ground, everyone's just going to turn on them. Well, there we go. That's my answer. WBG are on the low ground. They have had to use the Kurumi Parasol to be able to avoid a lot of that range poke pressure, very much using it as a shield to absorb some of the shots of things like Scatter Shot and those cannons. The Sleepwalker does not want to have to burn that transformation because he's going to paint himself a massive target. TE moving into mines themselves to make themselves even less of a target since some of them are still on blue armor. 521 doing the exact same thing. All of these teams a little bit further behind in terms of those scalings, just trying to make themselves small and quiet as possible as the Bane comes on through. It is directly in the middle, which is another reason why a lot of these teams have decided to hug the outer edges of the zone so that they don't have to worry about being stuck out in that open, especially when we have things like target lock and slow shot. Getting stuck in the open in the middle of the Bane's Breath is an absolute sign of death. Is OUG start to head over to the dealers. You even dropping the F2 to be able to avoid taking damage does take a little bit from one of those scatter shots connecting onto him alongside the fire tick, but they are just stocking up all of the resources on that side of the cliff so they don't have to run out of those heals and can sit on those ultimates for as long as they possibly can. There's the cavalry bloom that you were talking about. Like you said, 14 just running around in the hyper-focus to try and avoid all of the stagger and damage of the ranged as OUG's U. Into the mech, starts to patrol. Didn't get to see whether or not he was pressured by low health. It does actually look like he decided to voluntarily do this to oust Bowder from the top perch so that OUG can set up there instead. The cannon fire doing so much work from that Farrier as we start to see the Merciless Havoc. Now that they're on the high ground, they're just going to spam it so that it hits the Golden State focus, and anyone trying to grapple up is immediately going to get bounced back down. And in doing this, OUG have set themselves up to referee the rest of the lobby with those cannon fire shots from on high as Bowder tries to get back on top of that ledge and make sure that OUG don't get it for free. Heat going incredibly low, however. Yuran does decide now to make that move. The F2 coming on out, finding the connection, baseball batting a home run, and OUG have to give up the space. They bend the knee to save their players, hop into the Farrier V3 that's already been built back up, and SS just goes rinse and repeat onto the high ground. Out comes the cannon shot. Can't sit in it too long because of all of the range pressure coming through from the teams on the low ground, as they understand that they cannot allow this Farrier mech to just bully them out of all of their resources before the zone collapses.
A really, really good play from OUG. They're playing chess while everyone's playing checkers, putting out that Farrier mech onto their Yodo, able to use that to claim space. Now, even if Bowder makes a great play right there, responding with a Farrier mech and then even investing their Yushan ultimate to try to retake the space. But on the low ground, WBG's Sleepwalker, the Monk's back in this endgame. Can he find those legendary double grabs? He's getting cannons shot by EWG's 14. He's looking for the DMAC. He does get it with the Tessa ult combo. He's looking for the high ground, looking for that double grab. Healing Circle's going to be set out. Aurora Burst on the low ground, but Sleepwalker is taking so much damage from everyone. The whole lobby lights him up. Monk down. EWG cleaning up some of these kills. The Yushan just getting as many swings in as possible, but it's raining down chaos onto this ledge. Non-stop cannon shots. Everyone's trying to retreat, but where can you go? Everywhere is being absolutely bombarded by cannon shots. WBG Kurumi trying to salvage the situation. JDG looking for an opportunity to pick up kills, but it's TE who's coming in hot with the Tessa ult. They want a piece of this. Sleepwalker getting juggled. Perry Bell invested already. He's trying to make his way up the hill. WBG's Kurumi with the Aurora Burst able to peel them out, and TE is out of there with a great Wuchen port, but back into action. It looks like Bowder is still on the high ground, raining down chaos onto everyone. 5-2-1 is activating with their Farrier ult. OUG's trying to hold the corner, trying to duke it out with Bowder. You doing his best job right now inside the Farrier ult to push Bowder out, but they're not giving it up for free. They're not letting OUG run away for this. You pushing the zone, still has his Yoda ult. There's so many people around them, but Bowder just will not give this up. They happen to take Shinju down on the Yushan, and now OUG has to switch strategies, has to play placement right now. You trying to kite, trying to get out of the situation, using his grapples to get to the air. 5-2-1 though, controlling the other side of that little bit of terrain. Yin laying down the suppressing fire, trying to push Bowder out of here. And we have Sleepwalker managing to survive the assassination play from TE. Already up to 70% ult. If he can get his Monk ult back online, he still has his Kurumi with Aurora Burst. Unfortunately, he gets pushed to ulti low. He gets pushed again. The V3 from the Viper is going to hold him out, and TE does manage to clean him up. On the low ground, we have EWG, JDG holding the corners, TE inside the cave, Bowder still up top. They managed to muscle out OUG, and now they're king of the high ground. JDG taking to the skies. They did come into this end game as blueberries. Takeda is just absolutely getting juggled. The F3 is going to be invested by Kurumi. Finally, he pops his ultimate. He sees a ton of soul balloons, able to pick up his health. You in the center, pushing everyone out. The Temi ult's going down. 12 people alive in this tiny little bit of zone, Moxie. Can you find a way to get everyone out of here? Find the kills. He does have Yoda ult. He's going to hit everyone with this. 1/2/. He's He's not going to be able to deal with the zone damage, though. Not able to pick up more kills. Gets pushed out with 9, and TE is going crazy with 13 kills. Oh my goodness. They're back.